just moved to Atlanta, okay? Not even fully moved in. You're at work one day, you're chilling, and then Daddy Warbucks, who looks like Christian Grey off of 50 Shades of Grey, approaches you, and literally days later, you're looking at $9 million homes. But then you find out he's married, and his wife tries to herself. Story time. So, I am giving this story time because I have recently been told that this same person, whose name is George Apgar, the owner of Diverse Staffing, is going around Atlanta, still cheating on his wife 5 years later, who does not deserve that. And now you're trying to pick girls up by saying, gorgeous doll, gorgeous doll, gorgeous doll. So you've summoned me. Let me give you the attention you want. Because when you go around and you tell people that you had any dealings with me, that then makes me have to come tell my side of the story. Because why is you motherfucking running in the streets of Atlanta using my name for anything? When you know I don't play like that. So anyways, long story short, but not long story short, because I'm going to give y'all the full story. So I was freshly in Atlanta. Okay, y'all? Freshly in Atlanta, and I was working at Follies, okay? If any of you guys remember my story time, me telling you guys when I worked at Follies, I had worked there for literally probably 2 weeks, I would say 3 weeks max. And I'll tell you guys why I stopped working there. Someone just asked me in the comments, and I'll use your comment and answer why I stopped working there with that story time. But anyways, I'm at work or whatever. I just walked on the floor and I'm sitting at a table or whatever. Now, listen, the reason why I liked working at Follies at first is because this was pre-surgery gorgeous doll, okay? This was, you know, skinny. I still had my mommy oatmeal pie stomach. I still had my, you know, no implants, no boobies, no nothing. And the thing about Follies is it's dark as hell in that bitch. So you could fake it till you make it, you know? And that's exactly what I did. Like, I have pictures, y'all, where I can show y'all where I was tucking my stomach in. I was wearing certain type of bras under my uniform, but I made it work, okay? Anyways, so I'm sitting at a table, I'm just cute, just looking around, and then here comes this man who literally, he looks like he could be on 50 Shades of Grey, okay? I'm gonna insert a picture. You know what? No, because at the end of the day, your wife deserves this. And I'm about to give you everything you need for this divorce, sweetheart, because I'm still motherfucking shocked 5 years later, my bad, 5 years later, you're still fucking doing it in Atlanta. You have no respect for that woman after all the shit you put her through. So like I said, I'm going to give her everything she needs to take every motherfucking thing. Okay? So I'm sitting at work, minding my business, and he approaches me, okay? Now listen, blue eyes, tall, 6'1", 6'2", fine white man, okay? He looks like the little, like if you think of a white man in Atlanta that would be a trick, he looks like that, okay? But handsome. I'm gonna give it to you, George. You handsome. For sure. Okay? So he walks up to me or whatever. He's like, hi, I'm George. I'm in town because I have a business called Diverse Staffing. Yeah, baby, I'm giving Maria all of it, okay? Listen, baby. Listen. He deserves everything that comes behind this story time, okay? So anyways, he ends up telling me that he is the owner of this staffing company, Diverse Staffing. They're working on possibly getting a location in Atlanta, whatever. So I'm telling him about myself or whatever. At this point, I had an apartment in Stone Mountain with Emily, but me and Emily were in the middle of, like, you know, the fallout, because I was kind of like bartending at, not bartending, I was waitressing, she was bartending. I was waitressing at Diamonds, but like once a week, twice a week, I would go here because, to be honest, even with my oatmeal stomach and my deflated titties, I was still averaging about $600 a night at Follies, literally, just dancing, not doing nothing else, okay? But they did have bitches in there doing in the back rooms. Okay, but I didn't have to do that because it's just like how Follies was at that time. First of all, I could hide like certain things about myself that I was insecure about, but I always had a personality. I always had a voice. I always knew how to talk a man up out of you know, whatever I needed. So anyways, we're sitting there, whatever, and we're talking for about 10 minutes, getting to know each other. He tells me what he's in town for, that he owns this business and whatever. So I start talking to him about, you know, just how life's going with me, what I'm, you know, dealing with. Oh, I just moved here. I moved here, like, you know, with a friend. I'm telling him about, you know, what's going on. And he's just like, oh, you know, okay. So I ask him, do you want me to dance? He's like, oh, no. He pulls out a little clip of $100 bills, okay? Like a money clip with $100 bills, all hundreds. And he hands me like 2 of them. He slips them like, here you go. So how long have you been in Atlanta? This and that. He's just now small talking, okay? So me, I'm sitting here entertaining it because I'm like, oh, he wanted him. I got me one. He gonna be sitting here with me all day. So we're sitting here still talking or whatever. And I ask him like, you know, how often do you come in here? Because at that point, I had never seen him in there, but I hadn't been working there for long either. So he was like, oh, you know, this is my first time. Which I now know is a motherfucking lie. But I'm like, oh, really? So he's like, yeah, I just wanted to stop in. I heard this was a cool place, whatever. So as we're talking, whatever, I start getting into telling him what happened with me and Emily and how she's moving out and, you know, the situation. And he's sitting there eating it up like, oh, yeah, you moved here with her. That is so crazy. You're such a good friend. She doesn't deserve you. Okay? So I'm pretty much telling him, like, yeah, and now, like, she's moving out, which was a mutual choice because I had Prince. I wasn't going nowhere. Okay? I'm the one with the kid. I'm staying here. So I was telling him how I wanted to find a place closer, and I'm just talking to him, okay? So he's like, well, do you have a man, a boyfriend? I'm like, no, I don't. Of course I don't. The fuck? And he was like, oh, well, I could be that for you. You know, listen, even though he's white, he talks very, like he knows Ebonics. Okay? So as I'm sitting there or whatever, as I'm sitting there, he's pretty much just having conversation with me. We talked for about an hour, I want to say. And then I had made like, he gave me like $1,000 in hundreds. He just kept on giving me $100, like every couple of minutes. Here's $100, here's $100, here's $100. And we was drinking, okay? So he pretty much says like, oh, I have to head out. You know, let me get your number. I give him my number. Okay, cool. So me, I had a goal. My goal was like 15, like when I make 1,000 easy, back in those days when I made 1,000 easy, I wouldn't up my goal again. Like if I went to work and in the first 2 hours I make 1,000, I'm gonna up it to 2,000 or 1,500, right? Because I already made this. Let me try. You know, I got some more time. And how the shifts were set up, it was like day shift was like 3 to 8, night shift was like 8 to something. Like it was weird, but it was cheap as hell to work at Follies. Okay, like $30 during the day, $80 at night. Okay, I'm gonna make that money. So anyways, he ends up leaving, whatever, and he's texting me like, what are you going to do after work? I'm not sure. He was like, have you left yet? And I'm like, no, I'm trying to hit my goal. So he asked me what my goal is, and I told him, and he was like, oh, I'll just send you that. It's fine. I'll just send you that so you can leave. He was like, do you want to go get something to eat? So I'm like, I thought, like, this is fast. So I'm like, I haven't ate anything, because if you know Follies used to have this buffet in there. You shouldn't have ate from it. But anyways, so at this point, he sends me the additional $500, right? And so what am I doing? I'm leaving. Deep down, I wanted to stay, to be honest, because you just gave me this free money. And it's day shift. I know I can stay through the night and make more. But I was like, you know what? Fuck it. You know, I did what I'm supposed to do. Let me not be greedy. So I go get dressed, and I'm headed outside or whatever. And literally, he calls me as I'm working at the front door, and he's like, do you want to go eat? And I'm like, I thought you were leaving. He was like, oh, no, I'm going to go back to my hotel by the airport, the Marriott. Just so if anybody's questioning my story, you know, the Marriott on the other side of Spawn Divots. The Hilton, whatever. Is it the Hilton? No, it's the Marriott with the red. Anyways, across. Spawn Divots is on this side off the interstate. It's a hotel right here, okay? So he was like, I'm going to go eat at Spawn Divots. It's my first time going to Spawn Divots. Love Spawn Divots, okay? Best crab legs in Atlanta besides Juicy Crab. So anyways, we end up going, okay? So I'm in my car. He's in his. We meet at Spawn Divots, and we're just sitting there and talking, okay? So I'm pretty much like, you know, just telling him how I want to find a new place because I want to move closer to the city. I'm alone now, whatever. Meet me at part 2. Story time, part 2 of my first trick. We just gonna say that. That's what he was, to be honest. So anyways, from here, whatever, we go to Spawn Divots, we eat, and he's like, hey, do you want to come back with me? And I was like, I can't. I gotta go get my son. Okay. She's like, oh, you have a son? I'm like, yeah, I do. And so he's like, oh, okay, like I understand. I said, do you have kids? He was like, yeah, I have 3. I'm like, oh, so why, aren't you with their mom? And he's like, oh, we just never worked out. And pretty much played it to me like they were never together. Never together. So I'm like, oh, that's misfortunate. And he tells me his kids are older. Like, he has a younger one, I think that was like 11 or 12 or something like that. He was younger. Then he had 2 older ones, one that was in college and one that was about to go to college, right? At this point, y'all, I'm like, I don't know, 21, 22, something like that. So I end up going home. So throughout the night, we're texting, we're calling, y'all. First of all, every single time I ever called this man or needed to communicate with this man, he answered first, second ring. Okay? Even when he was in Indiana, he would always answer. That's why it's like when I found out that he had a wife, I was in shock. Like, this nigga answers the phone 24/7, ain't never missing. I would never think that he had a wife. Okay? So anyways, I'm gonna get to that point, how I found out about her. So at this point or whatever, we're talking, and I'm kind of, still, I'm going through the situation with Emily and her moving out and everything going on. And now at that point, me and Emily were going 50-50 on everything. So now I'm handling everything on my own, and I don't know what she was doing. So I'm telling him whatever, and I'm like, I really want to move. Like, I don't even like this apartment. And he's like, well, why don't you look up some places and we can go look at them together? So I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. So I start looking around, yo. I'm looking in the city. At this point, I was in Stone Mountain. So I'm like, oh, shit, this rent is different, okay? In Stone Mountain, I think our rent was like $1,100 for a 2-bedroom, and it was big, like 1,400 square feet. But in the city, rent was starting at like 2,600 for a 2-bedroom. Yeah, like it was up there. And so I was like, damn, And it's not that I couldn't cover it on my own. It's just that I was stepping up. I was going up a level when it came to rent. So I was like, damn. So at this point or whatever, he's just telling me like, find some apartments. We can go view them tomorrow. I get off of work at the end of business or something like that. So I was like, well, leasing office closed at that time. So he was like, well, I'll come on my lunch break. I'll come pick you up on my lunch break. I'll take an extended one and we will go look at some apartments. So I'm like, okay. So the next day I wake up, I get dressed or whatever, and he comes and he picks me up, okay? He picks me up in like this little BMW car that was a rental through his company, using company funds and company hours to be a whore. Just in case HR is watching. Anyways, so from here or whatever, he picks me up. We end up going to look at these apartments. They were off like Buford Highway. They were by Follies. So we go look at them, whatever, and I'm telling him like, this rent is crazy. It's a little OD for me, whatever. So he's like, oh, well, we can look at some more, but I really want you to be my girlfriend. So I got you. So I pretty much asked him like, have you ever dated any other girls in Atlanta? And he was like, I used to have a girlfriend, but it's like she just didn't have her own thing going on. And now me looking at that situation, what you was telling me is she was breaking you. She was getting money out of you, kept asking for shit, and you got tired of doing what the max was that she probably got you to. So you wanted to find something new that you could build up again, because that's what he does. Okay? So anyways, I'm just like, oh, what happened? And at that point, he told me the girl was like 29, 30. So she was like way older than me at the time. So I'm like, oh, okay, but there was nothing else. He never told me about no wife, no nothing. No, I'm single. Okay, I'm a single businessman. So at this point or whatever, like I said, we go view it or whatever. I'm telling him I'm not sure about it, and we go eat, okay? When we go eat, he's like, my business is doing really good. I think we're about to open another location in Atlanta. He said, so maybe we could get a house together. And I'm like, for real? This is the type of shit you see on motherfucking Lifetime or one of these movies out here, right? So for me, I'm like, this could be real. This could be real, because when I moved to Atlanta, y'all, oh, let me fit my ass, it's fat. Oh, by the way, y'all see my outfit? Hold on, let me show y'all. Outfit by Active Doll. Of course, little commercial break. Okay, let's get back into it. So at this point, I'm like, this could be real. Like, he could really be that nigga for real, Like, this could happen, because when you're not from Atlanta, especially during this time, you see a lot of girls who is making it like they getting tricked on. Like, life is great in Atlanta. Everybody got a trick. The tricks is buying bodies, bags, houses, and cars, right? And let me tell you right now, I don't want to burst y'all bubbles, but that's not how it goes. That's not how it goes, okay? You might get lucky, But that's not how it goes, y'all. You gotta do your own shit too. So for me, I'm delusional, like, oh my God, really? And so he's like, yeah. He was like, we're supposed to have a new location opening here within this year. I was gonna get a place anyways, but you can look at some houses. And he was like, find a realtor, and we can go tour some houses. Yo, I'm pretty sure I still got the emails. I just gotta go through my Gmail, okay? So I find a realtor, no problem. So he's like, I have to go back to Indiana, which is where he's mainly from. He was like, then I'll be back in a couple of days, set up some viewings, some houses for us to tour. Okay, cool. I find the realtor, I'm emailing her, I'm telling her, hey, me and my fiance wanna find a house together. So she's like, okay, cool, what's your budget? So I ask him, hey, she's asking me what the budget is, what should I tell her? He was like, tell her, look around 5 million. Okay, so I tell her, like, he's telling me that he wants me to, like, look for something around 5 million, around that area, whatever. So she tells me, and I think this is a part of his game, because it's so calculated, because this next part, it'll confirm to a girl like me that, oh, you got bread for real, because the realtor tells me, well, in order for me to schedule tours for those type of houses, I'll need a pre-approval letter from his employer. So I'm like, okay, I'll let him know. So I call him, hey, I found the realtor. She says it's no problem to find some houses, but for that amount, you will need a pre-approval letter. He says, okay, CC me in the emails, and I will make sure that it gets to her. Okay, so me, I'm like, this is real. This some real shit. So anyways, I end up CCing him in an email or whatever. He's talking to her, letting her know whatever. She's just sending me houses. She starts sending me houses. So I'm like, oh, he must have sent her that pre-approval letter, because she ain't wasting her time. She was on me like, hey, babe, I found these ones. I know George isn't going to be in town for 2 days, but me and you could go look. And I'm like, I'll just wait for him. So she ends up finding like a list of houses or whatever. I pick out 3, okay? I pick out one that's like 700,000, one that's like 1.5, and one that's like 8 million, okay? So he ends up coming back in town a couple days later or whatever. We're scheduled to go look at these places. So we go look at the first one, okay? I liked it. It's a natural suburban house, 4 bedrooms. It was like 3 baths. It was nice. I loved it. It was brand new development, okay? So we go look at it or whatever, and he's like, it's a little far from Buford Highway where, you're going to work. And he was like, and even for me where I need to be, okay? Because it was on the other side, the opposite side of the airport. So we went and looked at the second one. And to be honest, like, both of those houses look great. But when we got to that third one, okay, I'm gonna give you an idea, okay? Think of 7-bedroom house, big as fuck, white on the outside, drive up, circle around, drive through, okay? The only thing that was bad about this house is it shared a driveway, and there was another big ass mansion behind it, right? You like this one, babe? I love this one.
Remember this one has the one behind it.
Yes, that's the only thing.
Yeah, but we like this one though.
Yeah.
I can't believe the house. I mean, because I know what it is to build a house like this, and so to get this kind of
So we end up pulling up to this house or whatever. I'm in love, okay? I'm in love, y'all. I'm like, oh my God, this man's supposed to buy me $1 million house. Oh, bitch, we made it, okay? So at this point or whatever, we tour the house. I remember us going to the downstairs part because it had a movie theater, but it was underdeveloped, as into where it had the base for like how the steps are set up, but it didn't have the couches or like the decorations, stuff like that, the theater, like the actual TV, whatever. And I remember him saying like, oh, babe, you're going to have a blast decorating this. And he was like, down here could be like, a whole little area where we could host guests, all types of shit, y'all. He is feeding me and I'm eating it up. Okay, so the realtor is like, if you guys like this one, I can, see what they want for their offer. We can put in one, we can get an inspection, da 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 da. So he's like, yeah, well, I'm going to be in town for today. I got to go back to Indiana tomorrow. And then, send me over the paperwork. So I'm like, oh my God, this is happening. This is happening. Meet me at the next part, y'all. Story time, my first sugar daddy, part 3. So anyways, we just got done touring this $8 million, 8 or 9. It was like 8 point something. But anyway, we just got done touring this $1 million home, okay? And yeah,
I can't believe the house. I mean, because I know what it is to build a house like this, and so to get this kind of
me, I'm like, oh shit, like he had to send the pre-approval letter for us to even tour this. He is serious, but that might be his game. I know I could tell these girls to find a realtor. The realtor's going to want a pre-approval letter, which is going to confirm that I got that bread. Exactly, y'all. They be so motherfucking sneaky. They know what they doing, okay? So anyways, we saw that house or whatever, and then pretty much he said he had to go back out of town, and then he had said he'd be back or whatever. And you know how we left things with that realtor was send over all the documentation, all the information, whatever. He was gonna have his accountant look at everything to make sure that it, you know, lined up, okay? So I'm telling him like, hey, has she sent over the stuff? How's everything going? And he's just like, yeah, babe, I'm working on it. I got it. She's supposed to send in an offer. We're supposed to get an inspection, everything, y'all. I'm thinking I'm about to move into I'm about to be good, overly good, okay? So at this point, like a week goes by and the realtor lady emails me. She's like, hey, have you heard from George? Because at this point, she's talking to him. She ain't talking to me no more. So I'm like, yeah, he said that, you know, you were getting all the information on it and that they were going to try to do an inspection, da-da-da. And so she was like, yes, with this house, and I don't know if she was lying. She was like, with this house, it didn't pass the last inspection, but we can get another one done. I guess like the last time somebody tried to buy it or something. I don't know. So for me, I end up calling him. I'm like, hey, the realtor. He's like, yeah. She's been emailing me. I've just been so busy. I haven't been able to get back to her yet. So I'm like, well, you know, I really want to move. Like, I really want to move. You know, I'm trying to play my babe. Please save me. So he's like, but babe, if it doesn't work out, it's no problem. You can still find an apartment and we can still keep looking for a house because I want to make sure it's the perfect house for us. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I end up scheduling on my own some apartment tours on my own that I go look at, okay? Because one thing about it, I wanted to move from this area no matter what. But also, it's like part of me was like, a $8 million home. This nigga might be playing, but I know I could get him to at least get me an apartment, you know? Like a home is crazy. But it's what he said he was gonna do, so... But I have a backup plan. So I end up going and I tour some apartments or whatever. And then I tour these places called The Mill on Buford Highway, okay? I tour them and I'm telling him, hey, I found these apartments I really like. The rent is $2,100. The deposit is this, da-da-da. It's really nice. Yeah, it's a very good size. Corlin, do you like our new place? He's like, okay, babe, well, I'm coming in town. I think it was like the following week. He said, and we can go look at it together. So I'm like, okay, cool. So what does he do? He comes in town. What do? We go look at the apartment together. He's like, yeah, babe, this is really nice. It's perfect for you and you with your son. It's the perfect size. And we can, in the meantime, really look for a house that we love. Because that, when he tried to say, like, because it was underdeveloped, as in the basement wasn't finished and stuff like that, he was like, you don't want to have to put no work into a house. And I was like, okay. But at the end of the day, I was still getting an apartment out of the situation. So fuck it, right? So he ends up giving me the money. He ends up moving me in. He paid for the movers. He paid for the deposit. He paid for the first month of rent. He did all of that, okay? So I move into that apartment. So then he comes in town again. I want to say, like, he was coming in town once a week. He really was. And so it's like, for me, every week I would see him. So we get to the point where it's getting cold, right? Because I remember this shopping trip distinctly because I was some motherfucking country. It was crazy. So I tell him, like, hey, babe, it's cold. I need some winter clothes. So he's like, okay, babe, where you want to go? I said, can we go to Lenox? This is my first time shopping at Lenox, y'all, okay? So we go into Lenox, and I did it wrong. Not that I did it wrong, but I just didn't know. For me, when it gets cold, I go stock up on, like, Nike jumpsuits, and I stock up on, like, you know, polo jumpsuits and all the UGG boots. So we pull up to Lenox or whatever. We go into Macy's. I go to the little Nike and Puma area. I get a bunch of jumpsuits. We go into the UGG store. I got, like, 3 pairs of Uggs. Then I got, like, some perfumes. And then, to be honest, like, I had probably spent, like, maybe, like, $2,000. But it was on everything I needed for the winter. I wasn't going to be cold. I was not going to be cold. old. So anyways, at this point, I'm moved in to my new apartment. He covered everything he was supposed to do, right? The only thing is, it's like I didn't even notice, but he had never sent me money through an app or through a wire. He always gave me cash. So every time that he came in town, I would see him and he would give me cash. And I wasn't picking up on the fact that he can't send money because his wife would see it. Exactly. So at this point, we go shopping, I get the clothes, everything's good, okay? So for me, I am still kind of going to the club, but he has expressed to me, you're my woman. I don't want you to feel like you gotta go up there. Like, if you want to, cool, but I don't really want you to feel like you gotta go work there. But I've always been somebody, I like my own money. I don't want to put my trust in a nigga, right? So I'm still going to work. All right, I'm still going to work. So this is the first time this nigga lied to me and I caught his ass, okay? So he calls me and he's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, nothing. You know, I might go eat with some of my friends. I was really going to work. So he's like, oh, well, I'll be in town tomorrow. So I'm like, oh, okay, babe. Well, you know, just call me when you get here, whatever, whatever. So he calls me again, like twice when I was leaving my house. And like when I told him, oh, I'm pulling up with my friends, I was really pulling up outside the club. So I get dressed. I go on the floor. He's in the motherfucking club. You said you was coming in town tomorrow. What the fuck is you doing in here? And that's when like my whole mind on him changed. Like, oh, you're a whore. You a burnt out ass, sugar daddy ass, daddy Warbucks ass nigga, right? So when I see him, he's like, no, babe, like literally when I tell you guys, he's like following me towards the dressing room, trying to get my attention to talk to him. I'm like, no, I don't want to talk to you. I'm so dramatic, y'all. And I literally go get dressed and I literally go out the back door to my car and he's at my car trying to talk to me, okay? He's at my car trying to talk to me. He's like, babe, some of my uncle. Oh my God, his uncle. He always puts it on his damn uncle. He's like, my uncle who lived in Atlanta, he really wanted to come here. Like, I didn't even want to lie to you, babe. It made me feel so bad. Da da da, whatever, whatever. So I'm like, I don't care about nothing you're talking about. You lied to me. Like, I'm good. We're over her. At this point, you already done paid my rent. You already got me settled into this apartment. Like, you did something. Goodbye. But not really, because nickels. He would do what he was supposed to do. So at this point or whatever, I go home. He follows me to my house or whatever. And like literally, allegedly, I gave him a little. Like, you know, when you dramatically argue with somebody, how dare you? Yeah, allegedly. So anyways, we ended up going through that. And then like, we had already like slept together. I want to say like, it was before I got into my new apartment, I'm gonna tell you that. But I wanna say it was like after we were touring houses or something. Like, I know that it was like at his room, you know? And so anyways, he comes into my house. I allegedly slapped him for playing with me, and then we had slept together, okay? So from here, like, he's like, babe, I would never lie to you again. It's just my uncle really wanted to go, and I didn't want to have to tell you, and I know I don't want you in there, and all this other stuff. So we come up with an agreement where I was like, well, if you give me, listen, I said, I aim to make at least $1,000 a week here. And I was like, so I'll go there less if you pay and do this. So he was like, I got you, babe, no problem. I'll give you an allowance, okay? Okay, cool, whatever. So my thing about it though is it's like I would have to wait for him to come into town to give me the money. And it started to be like pulling teeth to me, because it's like he would be like, hey, I'm coming in town for this time, whatever. And I'd be like, you can't just Cash App it. You can't just Zelle it. You can't just da-da-da. He's like, no, all of my stuff is linked up to my company. So I can't do this, that, da-da-da. But it's like anytime we went out together, he did not care. Like, he would just spend it whatever, okay? On a business card. You know how I know it's a business card? Because he kept every fucking receipt, which is what taught me for my business now that even when I go out to eat, use my business card and keep the receipt, okay? So anyways, so at this point, it's like I really only caught him lying to me, but I never caught him doing anything else at this time, okay? But we done got in our first little toxic spat, so he's learning I'm not the one to be fucking played with, you know? So at this point, don't get me wrong, y'all, I liked him, okay? He was handsome. He had money. He was, listen, I know some of y'all hoes gonna go after him in Atlanta. Go ahead, baby. But just have some morals about yourself, because he has a wife and 3 kids. And she's not a horrible person, okay? But anyways, he was good in as well. Not a normal white boy. it was, he got some shit going on down there, okay? Like, I was shocked. Let's just say I was shocked, okay? Meet me at part 3. My first sugar daddy at part 3, okay? So where I left off was, like, he had went and took me to tour these houses or whatever. They tried to say that the inspection didn't go through, but he told me to go find an apartment. I found an apartment. He paid for me to move in. He paid all the rent. He paid whatever, okay? So then I ended up catching him lying to me and going into the damn strip club that he told me he didn't want me working at, right? He was in there with his uncle, all right? So at this point, it's like, I like him. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I had liked him for real because it was like a different type of guy, in my opinion. It was successful. You know, don't get me wrong, I've dated white guys before, but it's like he was a grown man. He was successful. You could tell he was about his business, and he was handsome, and he was packing, okay? So for me, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I liked him. I did like your bitch ass. So for me, everything was going good, okay? Everything was going good for like the first 6 months, okay? Like, for the first 6 months, everything was great, all right? So I had stopped dancing at Follies, and I was only waitressing at Club Diamond, okay? So at this point, like, he would come into my job, he would give me money, he would come in, he would never like throw money on me, he would just give me money, right? And so it's like, he was doing good, okay? Till one day, I'm at work at Diamonds, and a 314, an Indiana number calls my phone, and I'm looking at it, and so I don't answer it because I'm at work. It's loud as fuck. So I'm like, hey, the only person I know from Indiana is him. So I'm like, hey, who is this? They're like, who is this? And I'm like, this is Courtney. And she's like, oh, this is Maria, George's wife. So me, I step outside. Hello? Yes, I'm George's wife. I know that you've been dealing with him. All this stuff. I'm like, wife? I'm like, that's my boyfriend, first of all. Well, I didn't say that. I said that before because she had asked me what my relationship to him was, which I was like, that's my boyfriend. And she was like, well, I'm his wife. And I was like, what? Like, I was distraught, y'all. I was like, this was my boyfriend. Like, for real. Like, it was like that for real. So I was in shock at work. So, like, from here or whatever, she starts texting me because I'm like, what? I hang up on her. I call a nigga. I'm calling. He's like, don't answer your phone. I just got to argue with my wife. Wife? What? Wife? He was like, I'll be in Atlanta tomorrow. We will talk about this, whatever. So me, I'm like, excuse me? So she's texting my phone while I'm at work, y'all. Okay? So I'm at work. I'm texting like, I didn't even know the man was married. I've been dealing with him for whatever. She's like, and listen, I want to leave this part out, but not really, because it was a big reason on, I was going to stop fucking with the man in general because you lied about being married, even though we had over 6 months in together. But when she called my phone, it's like, she didn't treat me as if I was somebody that like was unaware. She was talking to me crazy. So I was like, I did not know that he was married. I've been dealing with him for this, da-da-da. And y'all, when you see her, she looks like an old version of me. But you could tell she's more like Sicilian or something in her blood. I swear to God. Curly black hair, tan. I was like, when I looked her up. So anyway, she texts my phone. She's like, I'm about to kill all this other shit. So then he starts calling me. He's like, stop picking up the phone for her. Stop texting her back. She's with my kids. She's threatening to herself. I'm like, oh my God. So he's like, yeah, she got my kids over there calling me, whatever. So it's like me, I get another call from another Indiana number. And I think it was his daughter. And I'm like, who is this? I can't confirm or deny if it was the daughter. But pretty much they were like, my mom's over here going crazy about herself. Leave my dad alone. I'm like, oh my God. This man has a full family. He told me he had 3 kids. The daughter was about to go to college. But I'm at work, y'all. I'm at work going through this. I ain't make no money that night because I was on my phone the whole night, okay? I ended up leaving early. So for me, I get home and I'm just in shock, like, oh, this man is married for real. So what do? I go look up everybody. I go look up her IG, her Facebook, and even when I see her, I was like, this girl look like an older version of me, but I'm just, black. But I'm like, oh my God. And I end up seeing everything. And she like sends me a picture of their house with a yacht in the back. Like, y'all, first of all, they got a big ass house. Baby, you better take all of it. If you need the receipts, call me. But anyways, so for me or whatever, he ends up coming in town the next day. And it's like, for me, I didn't want to meet with him, but guess what? The rent was due. The rent was due. The rent was due. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give you a conversation. But I can't believe you lied to me for the past, it was more like 7-8 months, I wanna say. I can't believe you lied to me these past months. But for me, I didn't see no signs. Anytime I called him, he answered. Anytime I needed him, he was there. Like, it did not make sense to me, y'all. So he tells me that he actually is separated from his wife. This is what he tells me. I'm separated from my wife. She doesn't want to get a divorce. I don't sleep in the room. I'm not with her. He was like, I can answer my phone anytime you call me. I am not with her. So me, I'm like, so how does she get my information? He says she hired a private investigator. Oh, she know every motherfucking thing about me, baby. Everything. So it's like, I don't know if it's like, she had realized that, because first of all, he's always been a cheater apparently, but I don't know if she had realized like him taking a more interest in me, if that makes sense, than I guess other girls that he has in the past. But it's like the way she was on the phone crying to me, like crying, yelling, right? And then all these threats of her wanting to end it. And so for me, I felt really bad because I'm like, she told me that she was gonna, he said, yeah, she was doing all that in front of my kids. And I'm just like, this is crazy. And so he's like, yeah, I'm not with her. We're separated. She can't accept it, whatever. So I'm like, okay. And he's like, I still want to be with you. At the end of the day, I don't care about, my marriage with her. If we could get a divorce, if she would give me the divorce, I would get it. But we're separated. So he's like, anytime you want to call me when I'm at home, I answer. And I'm like, damn. And this is my first situation, me ever dealing with anything like this, y'all. So it's like, I'm stuck because I've never dealt with a married man. And it be like, a wife calling me, a wife contacting me, like all this crazy shit. Because one thing about her, she was a little off. She wasn't off. Her heart was broken. They had been together for 19 years, 3 kids. 19 years, 3 kids. And that was back in 2019, 2018. Okay? So my thing is, it's like, think of now, and I'm going to speed y'all up after I get through the rest of this. So for me, I was stuck between a rock and a hard place. I had dedicated the last, 7-8 months to this man because I'm thinking I'm in a relationship. My man handled everything. Yeah, I go to work, do my little waitressing. I'm not dancing, whatever. And he's handling shit for me. But I'm also stuck because, I'm a girl's girl for real. So it's like, having her on my phone, it was like, having her on my phone threatening her life. I was like, I can't have that on me. I cannot have it on me that a woman does this to herself because of something that I have going on. So when he had told me that they were separated and all this stuff, he showed me text messages. He showed me messages from lawyers and everything. So me, I'm like, oh, so she is wanting to fight for her family and he ain't wanting that no more. And he's like, we've been going through this for the last year. I've been trying to leave her. So y'all see where I'm at with it at this point. I'm like, damn, I fuck with the nigga, but you lied. You lied in a way. But it's like, he was like, did I really lie? I'm separated. Yeah, I'm legally married, but we're separated. We don't sleep in the same bed, none of that. So I'm like, I know, y'all. So anyways, after that, he's just like, don't answer her call no more. If you can get a new number, do that. But I don't want you to leave me. I don't want to leave you, whatever. Okay, cool. So for me, I'm pretty much doing my own investigating at this point. Okay, so I'm at work again another day. Meet me at the next part. My first sugar daddy part, I think 4. So at this point, y'all, I had just told y'all in the last part of the story how I'm at work and his wife calls my phone. She hired a private investigator to find out who I was. She's now threatening to hurt herself. And, you know, me, I'm not knowing what to do because I done been with this man for the last 7-8 months thinking I got a man. And the whole time he's legally married. But then he comes in town to Atlanta the next day, asks to meet up, and he tells me that they're separated. Shows me text messages, shows me messages from lawyers. He's showing me a bunch of stuff, okay? That would make you think that, oh, she wants to be with you, but you don't want to be with her, right? But it's like, for me, I was conflicted because it was like, this woman is threatening to herself. Like, I do not want that on me. So, anyways, at this point, it's like we're still talking, but it's tainted. The relationship is tainted now. I don't trust him at all. So then she gets my number again. She starts sending me like pictures and text messages. She's like, you think you're the only one he's in Atlanta with? He does this. She's sending me other hoes. She's snitching on him. So I'm like, oh, this is what you do. So what I do, I smarten up. Let me run in pockets real quick. So I'm like, okay, how do I go about this situation and get everything I need from it? So I pretty much told him, like, I can't trust you, and I don't know if you're going to leave your wife or not. So if you can give me, which was a lump sum of money, I'm not going to disclose it. And I said for me to make sure that I'm good for at least, like, the next year in case you decide that you just want to go back to your family, then I can't do this if you can't do that. So he was like, I got you, babe. It's good, whatever. Y'all, I waited for this money for maybe about 2 weeks, okay? For about 2 weeks. It never came. So I stopped fucking with him. Clipped, I'm good on you. I stopped fucking with him, all right? So it's like, for me, what brings this full circle is that the next time I had seen him was in 2023 in Magic City, okay? I walk on the floor. I'm not little baby G-doll no more. I'm this G-doll. Okay, I walk up on the floor, I see him with another pretty light-skinned girl. So I look, and I'm like, he looks at me, double takes, and he's like, so I walk up. What you doing in here? The girl is standing next to him or whatever, and I'm like, he was like, oh, I just came in to have a drink with my friend. This is gorgeous, da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, so what you doing in the club? What you doing in here? You know I work here. Because he was watching me. You get what I'm saying? Because he didn't just leave me alone. Like, he was still trying, but I was clipped on it. I was good, and I already had something else brewing, right? So the girl or whatever, as we're talking, because I'm like, look, I hope you're doing well, but have you ever got a divorce? So he's like, listen. So the girl's like, babe, come on, my friend's here. Let's go up here. So I said, you need to go get me some money out the ATM. And so the girl's trying to grab him. I said, sweetie, chill. Before you get your ass beat in here. I said, go give me some money. I said, so he said, well, we came in here to dance her friend. I said, it's not up for discussion. Go get me some motherfucking money. You coming to my job with another bitch. You know I'm not at Allure no more. Because I had seen him at Allure too. And we had talked for a second. But I had realized he a hoe, for real. He's a hoe. He stays in these clubs in Atlanta trying to pick up new girls, and he's just, y'all, burnt out, okay? So he has to tell me, like, I'll sell you something, or I'll cash out you something. I'm like, yeah, okay, this nigga sent me $200. I was like, ugh, okay, whatever. And for me, I have never told y'all this story because I had never had no reason to. But I got a message, like, I want to say last week or the week before that, whenever I came on here and told y'all that I was going to give y'all this story time, this girl messaged me and she says, gorgeous, when are you going to do your story time about George? Because he, literally, I was just dealing with him and I didn't know he was married. And she was like, and he was telling me how he used to date you and all this other stuff. I'm like, where did I come into play? Why are you speaking on me at all? And so she sends me this voice memo. He sends her the voice memo, and the voice memo was like, I never lied to you. The only thing I lied about was being married. And this girl, she's on the phone playing her role. She's like, you just lied to me. I can't believe it. Like, you know, like how we playing our games, right? So I tell her, I'm like, you know, I haven't seen him in years, but I don't understand why he's going around. She was like, no, literally, like when I met him, he had told me he dated you and all this other stuff. And it's like, why are you going around picking up hoes and telling them that you used to talk to me? And you know it's not good on my end between me and you. And you're still married. His wife's profile picture on every platform is of them. So So I did this story time because at the end of the day, right, even when his wife had hit me up again after that, I told her, I said, baby girl, unless you're going to leave that man, stop calling my phone. Because I told her, I said, if you want to divorce him, I'll give you all the proof you need, baby. I will give you all the proof you need. But you never divorce him. So it's like, for me, she chooses to deal with it, but I don't know if it's like because she doesn't have the proof or because of the fact that she doesn't know he's still doing it 5 years later now. So for me, I would love for you to keep my name out of your mouth and stop going around Atlanta picking up girls and bringing up Gorgeous Doll's name. Yes, we dated under false pretenses because you lied. You are a married man with 3 kids. Why would you ever mention my name knowing that I would do a story time that could potentially ruin everything? I hope your wife leaves you. I hope you lose your job. And to be honest, you deserve that. A woman gave you 20 years of her life and 3 kids, and you still to this day cheating on her every time you touch down in Atlanta. To be honest, everywhere you motherfucking go. Because I'm sure you have, like, he has multiple places. Diverse Staffing has multiple locations. So I know every location this man goes to, you with somebody else. But I decided to give you your story time because you decided to keep putting my name in your mouth. So good luck playing cleanup. Maria, if you need any type of receipts, baby, you know my IG, sweetheart. You probably, no, you don't know my number. I've changed my number a couple times. But yeah, if you want to divorce your husband, I got you. And to be honest, it's like another 4 girls since I made my one video saying I was going to make this video that have sent me receipts of dealing with him in Atlanta, voice messages, pictures, everything. So let me know if you want it, because at the end of the day, it sucks that a man can't act right, but also it's like he's going to do what you allow. So if you continue to allow it, that's on you. But if you do need any type of proof or any type of help, call me. Anyways, bye y'all. Bye, George.